Hi everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I've been talking about this for a while. I'm setting up my ink journal. So I've got two books here. One is the Midori grid notebook. So it's creamy paper with kind of that blue grid that it has. And the other is the Hobonichi notebook with the varying colours of grids as well. So these two I've chosen because these are the two papers that I use the most, and I thought for me it makes most sense to swatch ink on paper that I use all the time so that I can see what it's really going to look like. So in here, as I have with all my previous setups, I've got a few things that signify what I want to use in the planner. I've got some Coffee Monsters Co. ink bottle doodles and fountain pen maintenance doodles, as well as a couple of little stickers here. We've got the I Heart pens. No, you can't use my pen. This one's from Marshmallow Studio. We've got the ink, as well as the other I Heart pen. I love pens. And then the little piece of paper that came with the cover. I think I'm going to leave this to the side for the moment because what I really want to do is swatch some ink first up. So I'll just pop the cover to the side as well, and I'm going to swatch today my Tears of Sapphire Ferris Wheel Press ink. This is so pretty. So this is one of the Fairy Tales inks, and I have quite a few of them now because I am a creative ambassador for Ferris Wheel Press, which means you get a discount if you use my discount code. Packaging as usual is beautiful. This one has a base of blue, a sheen of red, a shimmer of silver, and low shading. So very excited to try it out. And I thought what I might do is duplicate the swatches in these two books. So I'll start with the Hobonichi notebook because I'm very familiar with the Hobonichi paper. Like, I use it all the time. I'm going to leave a page and maybe leave a title page, and then just start here on this page. Okay, so this bottle is beautiful. It's one of the little Fairy Tales bottles. You can see all that silver shimmer on the bottom of the bottle there. I'm quite notorious for forgetting to shake my ink bottles before I swatch them. So I'm just going to invert this a few times to get that shimmer moving about within the bottle. And then I'm just going to use my dip pen here to swatch it out. But I thought I might do a couple of different things with the swatching today. But first I'm going to write the name of the ink. I haven't tried any of this before of my plan here, so and I've never tried this dip pen before either, so I'm keen to see how this goes. Okay, so obviously I'm not the best with a dip pen, but I kind of like that it gives you a bit of variation in the colour because my writing is so poor. And I've managed to get it all over myself already. So that's just the writing of the ink, but I did want to do like a little circle of colour on here as well. I might just grab a washi tape, which might sound a bit strange. I'm just going to grab this one. I just want to make myself a little circle of water. So I've just got some water off camera here, and I'm just going to paint a little circle of water in there. I don't know if this is going to work. We are trying this for the very first time. I'm going to grab a little bit of colour on this paintbrush, and I just want to dab it here on this water, and then just kind of try to spread it around in that circle shape. I'm not bothered if it's not a perfect circle. And I think I want to add a little more water because I want to see that colour. I'm not going to add any more ink to the other side. I'm just going to drag my ink through that water there just to make up that circle. And I'll just try and move that around, fill the whole space. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Now I've got these 2 water drops here. I'm not sure if you can see them. I'm just going to throw a bit of colour in those just for fun. I might actually use a bit of fresh ink to make them a little bit darker. Okay, loving that. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Oh, I really like it. I'm very happy with how that's turned out. And I'm going to bring in the MD paper. So I'm just going to put that to the side. And we're going to do exactly the same thing in here as well. So I'm just going to leave maybe 2 pages there the same way. Now let's see if I can figure out the dip pen. I may not have gone in low enough. Okay, I'm just going to rinse that pen off in the dirty water just to get me started. I do have some clean water here as well, thankfully. So I'm going to do my little washi tape trick again. I probably should find a washi that I don't care about so much instead of this one. And just put that circle of water in and maybe add a little extra water this time. Like I said, I'm not too fussy about the circle shape, as long as it's just a basic shape. Just dry off my little brush here, and I'm going to just drop that ink. Oh, I love how ink moves. Just going to pop a few spots of colour in. I think I'll leave it there. I think I got a lot more this time than I did before. And let's just move that about. Okay, I've just made myself a couple of spots here that I'll add some water to, add some ink to, just to also see how that dries in those circle shapes. Okay, I'm going to let them dry. I might move this one back in, because the other thing I'd like to do is just write a little bit. So I do have this dip pen in a smaller, in a fine nib as well as the medium. So I just have this very simple little quote that I thought I would write with this pen. Well, I'm a bit of a fan of this very fine nib for writing. That's quite lovely. Okay, I'll just zoom you in a little on this one, so hopefully you can see there we've got my very poor writing up here at the top with the medium. I think it must be a medium nib. And then this one looks like it's an extra fine. No, it's just a fine. Okay. This is a fine tip here that says it was ordinary and it was beautiful. A quote by Denny Gregory. I am going to have to really improve my writing if I'm going to continue this. Okay, so I'm loving how that's drying. It's looking beautiful, and I'm going to swap books now and write the same quote in the other one, and then we will come back when everything is dry. Okay, just jumping back in while this is still drying. I've just put a swoosh of colour on both books, just using the paintbrush directly into the ink, but obviously it's super dark, so I just want to I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just thinking of just flicking it up with the fairly dry brush, just to see if that colour comes out. Okay, that's kind of cool. And I'll do the same in the Hobonichi paper. Well, the colour shows up, it looks like the colour shows up way better in the Hobonichi paper. I love that little feathering there. Okay, we will come back when this is all dry. See you soon. Okay, here we go. Oh, I love how this comparison has turned out. This is the scientist in me. Let's put these side by side and we'll take a look. So I guess first things first, the Hobonichi paper is much whiter than the Midori cream paper, which makes sense. And I feel like I may have put a little more colour on here, but not enough to make up for this very different looking two circles. So I feel like there's a lot more feathering here on the Hobonichi paper. This is much thinner, of course. This Midori paper is thicker than the Hobonichi. And feathering here in my writing as well, although the writing's pretty sloppy, let's be honest. But I really love the variation in colour. You can see much more of this shimmer in this one. Let's read the back of the box again. It said, sorry, sheen. The sheen is red and the shimmer is silver. I can definitely see the red sheen in here, and I'll bring it up to camera in a second. And then in this feathered one at the bottom, so this is almost purple here with the red sheen, and I can also see the silver shimmer over it in those very black parts. This is all dry, and this one is quite similar at the base. These two, where the saturation of colour is very high, they do look quite similar. I can really only see the blue at the very tips of those feathered bits there. So it's these drops here that are quite different. So these have a very kind of reddy purple outline, whereas these have virtually no outline at all compared to the others. However, I love how this little moon here has turned out. It's just beautiful. I will pause here to say that I drew inspiration from a YouTube video where she did the same thing, a circle of water and then dropped the inks into it. I will link that video below because I loved it. She did a much larger moon and then wrote a lot of text as well. It's really beautiful. You should check it out if you're intrigued by this. All right, let's bring these up closer to camera and take a look at, so you can see that red sheen there in the writing, and then in the circle itself, definitely this red sheen here where the color is darker, and then I love that pale blue in the center. It's really just a beautiful experience. There's our two little dots as well, and then right at the bottom, hopefully you can see, yeah, there's that silver sheen. Isn't it weird to think that that's all done with the same ink, that same jar of ink that I just opened? You can see that really reddy purple color at the bottom there where the color was very saturated. Also, I did shake the bottle very well before I did that brush stroke across the bottom, so all of that sparkle at the bottom there was hopefully moving through the solution. Maybe not saturated, but it was definitely, I think, moving about. My pretty sad little bit of writing there, it was ordinary and it was beautiful. I guess The writing is pretty ordinary, but the quote is beautiful. But I love that color. I'm never a blue girl, but this is nice. It's a bluey, purpley, pinky color. I really like it. All right, so moving to the Midori paper, you can also see that red sheen happening in the top there in that writing. It's really, really nice actually. And then our circle moon with the outline. You can definitely see the outline in red on here where it's quite saturated. These drops, it may just be that they were quite less concentrated than the others, not as much color deposited, so I don't think I'll worry about those. But then here again, this is that reddy purple color, almost maroon, with this silver sparkle, this shimmer over the top. So we've got that red sheen, just the only little bits of blue showing at the end of those feathers there, and a little bit here in this corner as well. Wow, I love, love, love the way these have turned out. All right, let's have a look at ghosting and bleed through. I'm guessing it's bleed through, but I don't know. I haven't checked yet. So definitely dry. Let's turn the page in our Hobonichi paper. All right, so we have bleed through to the page behind, but none on this side. I do have some puckering in the paper that I'm sure you can see where that water has come through. So lesson for next time, I'll pop a pencil board down before I do it. But what I might, I was going to say I'll stick these two pages together, but actually I won't, because I want the history of seeing that bleed through on the other side, just to give me an idea of what's happening. You know what, actually it hasn't bled through at all, it's just heavily ghosted. There's no actual point where the ink has come through. It's almost come through there, but it hasn't. So, you know, well done to my river paper. Okay, if we move to the Midori paper and I turn the page here, again, you see no bleed through at all. I do have some puckering on the paper here, not as badly, but it's definitely there. And again, that's just because I put water down. So pencil board required. And I feel like there's much less, well, there is less ghosting. It's still obviously visible, but it's obviously not as visible as in the Hobonichi paper. Wow, this was such a cool experience. I really, really enjoyed it. That was good fun. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Let me know what you think. This is the Ferris Wheel Press Tears of Sapphire Ink. It's stunning. It's all over my fingers. I really enjoyed this ink very much. I'm now going to go back and do all of my other Ferris Wheel Press inks in here as well, just to be able to record how pretty they are. And also, when I've done my swatchings in the past, I haven't mixed the bottle as well as I should have. So I may have missed some of that intricacies of the inks. So I will definitely going to be doing the rest of my inks. And I think I've got 10 or 12 of them now. So it's going to be quite a session. All right, guys, I'm now going to decorate this journal with all of these stickers and things, but I think I'll do that in a separate video. So this one will be just dedicated to the swatching. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what you think. I'm super keen to hear from you. And thanks so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.